to BrandPlus TV. It's always a delight knowing that you've taken your time and are keeping us company. My name is Ndiro Ganga, ready to bring you up to speed with all the top stories making headlines. And as you know, we're all about business. Here's a glance of those stories.
We understand the prayers in the market and how much the maize is costing.
Maize flour prices set to go down. It's more ugali on your plate. Towards East Africa Poverty Report, Kenyans point out critical issues on matters poverty in survey. Hyatt in Kenya, hospitality industry outlook. Big names in hospitality make a dash for Kenya, but what does the future hold? Kenyans who have faced many losses in the recent past can now turn their frowns into a smile thanks to Cabinet Secretary Agriculture and Livestock Mwangi Kiunjuri. While addressing a press conference held at Kilimo House today, the CS announced the reduction of maize flour prices retailing from shillings 90 to Kenya shillings 75. Take a look at that report. Unlike last year where drought caused food crisis in the country, this year, favorable weather conditions and government initiatives such as subsidized fertilizers to farmers have resulted to a bumper harvest. The normal annual production has produced 34 million bags, and the upcoming short rains are expected to boost the total annual harvest to 40.9 million bags. It is for this reason, CS Kiunjuri says prices must go down.
The position of the government is that a 2 kg unga packet should not retail at more than Kenya shillings 75. That is 75 shillings.
With the recent passing of the Finance Bill 2018, some retailers have been using the 8% excise duty tax on petroleum products as their excuse for hiking maize flour prices.
The excuse that 8% VAT is driving the cost of maize flour does not hold, given that VAT on milling is zero, rated and refundable by KRA. I would therefore like the millers and traders to do the responsible thing, bring down the retail price of 2 kg packets of unga to not more than 75 shillings.
However, CS Kiunjuri says swift and stern action by the government will be taken against any retailer retailing maize flour above the 75 Kenya shillings government directive.
Any trader selling at a higher price than 75 shillings is not only exploiting Kenyans, but also taking advantage of consumers. Government will not allow traders to exploit consumers, and necessary action will be taken. Much as we appreciate, it is a free market. Nobody should hide behind that it is free market.
The new directive is set to take effect immediately. The next maize flour price review is expected to be done in June next year. The prices will be determined by the state of the market at the time. Till then, Kenyans can smile all the way to the retailer to pick their next packet of maize flour. Inequality has permeated all facets of life, and when it comes to matters wealth, it is no different. The gap between the rich and the poor is forever widening with no end in sight. To this end, Sauti za Wananchi at Towards East Africa sought to find out what you have to say about this issue and the solutions thereof. Our reporter Daisy Wambua graced the launch of the report and filed the following story.
The huge differences in incomes between the poor and the elites are obvious to all, thus resulting in differences in power, opportunities and lifestyles. According to a report by the International Monetary Fund, excessive inequality can erode social cohesion, lead to political polarization and ultimately lower economic growth. These sentiments are brought closer home by the findings of the report that was released today by Sauti ya Mwananchi under the Towards East Africa that was conducted between the 18th of April and May 15th this year. The report states that 95% of the citizens say that the gap between the rich and the poor is too big, and 9 out of 10 do believe that it is the government's responsibility to address it. The report continued to state that 48% of the citizens view lack of employment as one of the 3 main reasons as to why some households in Kenya are poor. Injustice in society came second at 23%, and lack of education was cited as the 3rd reason at 18%. These sentiments were further echoed by citizens on the ground.
Government ya Kenya siku hizi inasema inaweza provide kazi kwa vijana. Ndio kazi iko kwa vijana, lakini mshahara ni kwa wazee.
Kuna vijana wengi wamesoma, but unapata watu wanaambiwa ndio upate hiyo job opportunity lazima uwe na work experience ya kama tuseme kitu kama miaka 2-3. Sasa hiyo kabla upate hiyo work experience na hujapata opportunity ya kufanya job, utapata wapi hiyo chance? Na inakuwa ngumu.
Kesi niko nao na imeenda for 5 years. Now tunaenda the 6th year. Na which nimeona very unfair. Kwa vile tukienda saa zingine unapata inairishwa, inasukuma miezi ingine kama 3-4, mwaka inaisha, wale macomplainer wakuji, munairishwa, hiyo mwaka tena inaisha, na kukua wewe kukosa kuattend, unatolewa warrant of arrest.
The report continues to state that 4 in every 10 citizens believe that an increase in funding for social safety nets is among the 3 most important things the government should do to reduce income inequality. We went on to find out what are some of these safety nets that Kenyans seek, and this is what they had to say.
At least gava itafute vitu vijana wanaweza fanya na wawapatie chance za kufanya vitu so that wakuwe busy.
Sasa hapo lazima waangalie zile vitu wanaweza divide. Zile zenye zinaenda kwa watu wa chini, waache watu wa chini. Ama kama sivyo ikuwe the same lakini si ile high ya kutumiza.
Kuomba kiwa reduce hizo taxes wametuongezea zinatuumiza sana.
When it comes to justice, the report indicates that 42% of citizens say that the rich and powerful people are able to escape punishment when they commit crime. However, a majority at 54% agree that all citizens, regardless of wealth, will be punished equally and according to the law. With very high-profile cases currently in the corridors of justice, we do hope that the faith placed by a majority of Kenyans on the justice system will not be in vain. Although dealing with inequality is a complex global challenge, the data presented clearly shows that though Kenyans are not satisfied with the government's approach, they come with solutions. All is left is for the government to extend a hand, bring the citizens on board, and together slay the dragon that is poverty. For BrandPlus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
Small and medium enterprises, popularly known as SMEs, are engines of growth for any economy. Statistics has it that 80% of SMEs don't get to see their 3rd birthdays, and only less than 10% get to celebrate their 5th birthday. In an effort to change the narrative, Invest in Africa and African Management Institute today launched SMEs Learning Academy. Our reporter Karari John attended the event and brings us the following report.
Although SMEs contributed widely to job creation and economic growth in Kenya, the players therein continue to face challenges related in financing and technical knowledge. To address this problem, a series of initiatives are taking place, and one such venture is Invest in Africa, which improves SMEs' access to skills, contracts, and finance. While speaking at the media briefing, Chief Operations Officer, Invest in Africa, Wangeshi Morioki, first thanked the African Management Initiative for collaborating with them in SME Learning Academy projects.
Thank AMI, or the Africa Management Initiative, for agreeing to collaborate and partner with Invest in Africa in driving one of our greatest pillars. Invest in Africa Kenya is working to drive job creation and growth for the SMEs in our economy, not only in Kenya but also in Africa. And being a partnership initiative, we believe that we can't really do this on our own.
She went on to point out the importance of skills in SME growth and success as they are the driver of the economy.
Skills development is a very important aspect of that would drive the growth of SMEs in Kenya, who are the primary drivers of our economy. And in today's world, learning must also be delivered in innovative and in very flexible ways. And that is why we thought that AMI is a very good partner, because they've done it. They've been there, they've done it. They've trained over 20,000 people across Africa and other markets. And so we are happy to be driving this partnership to support our 1,700 SMEs that are registered on the African Partner Pool. So thank you very much, AMI.
CEO and co-founder, African Management Initiative, AMI, which empowers African managers and entrepreneurs through practical and accessible learning and developmental tools, Rebecca Harrison, stated that the AMI is thrilled to work with African entrepreneurs due to the potential they hold.
Pioneering a scalable approach to skills development and workplace learning for Africa. And we're passionate about building the capacity of small businesses and entrepreneurs. So we've reached about 20,000 people. About 15,000 of those are entrepreneurs, small businesses. And we focus on and we care about entrepreneurs because they're the bedrock of our economies across Africa. They're the guys who are creating jobs and moving our economies forward. And we're absolutely thrilled to be partnering with Invest in Africa and excited to be able to reach more entrepreneurs through this partnership.
Yes.
As call for entrepreneurship persists, there is need for concerted efforts to equip the entrepreneurs with relevant skills they require in order to attain business success as well as unlock the full economic potential of small and medium enterprises. Reporting for BrandPlus TV, I am Karari John Wambugu.
The 21st Nairobi International Book Fair that is organized by the Kenya Publishers Association today opened its doors at the Sarit Center Expo Hall in Nairobi. The book fair aims to serve as a reflection of the society from which the writers are drawn from. Our reporter Daisy Wambuo graced the event and has the details.
The 4-day expo is expected to attract 55 local exhibitors and 15 international ones, with the hopes of welcoming more visitors than last year's 29,000. Events at the book fair include workshops and seminars on tropical issues, book launches and book clearance sale, and raffle for books, among others. Even with such a colorful fair taking place, one cannot help but wonder how the publishing industry is faring with all the competition it's facing from the digital substitute. Speaking to the chairman of the Kenya Publishers Association, Lawrence Njagi, he was keen to point out that the sector is currently booming even as technology continues to pose a threat.
We are also playing about 60% in the region. That's Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, South Africa, Zambia, Senegal, Ethiopia, and South Sudan. Most of the publishers you see here have business across the region, and we control about 60% of that.
He continued to add that the future of the business was bright and the industry shall indeed continue to thrive.
When they were writing on papers, today when we are using digital, publishing will just keep going and going and going, because publishers are not printers. Publishers are packagers of information. Whether it is in digital form or in printed form, it is still the content will still have to come from the publisher.
However, the business is not without its challenges, which he went on to outline.
We face many challenges, one of which is the state of our economy, which is affecting everyone. The fact that life has become expensive in Kenya, the fact that books are VAT tax compliant, the fact that we have heavy consumables. Publishing relies on printing, and Kenya is a net importer of paper. We have no paper mills, we kill all of them, so we have to import the paper. So that part of importing the paper makes the book expensive.
Even as the players in the publishing sector continue to ensure that knowledge is disseminated, there is need for them to quickly evolve and take up new innovations if they are to survive the new age. For BrandPlus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
Hyatt Hotels Corporation today held a media roundtable at Dusit D2 Nairobi to announce that a Hyatt affiliate has entered into a management agreement with Kanha Limited for the first Hyatt branded hotel in Nairobi, Kenya, expected to open in early 2020. They attributed this expansion into the country to a favorable business environment. I had a sit down with Kurt Straub, Vice President Operations Middle East and Africa Hyatt Hotels Corporate, to discuss the outlook of the hospitality industry in the region. Take a look.
Thank you very much, Kat, for making time to speak to BrandPlus TV. Now, the hospitality industry in the country is one that is exciting, and we are seeing the entrance of Hyatt as one of those bolters to the industry now. What would you term as the driving factors behind the success of the hospitality industry that attracted your brand to venture into the Kenyan market?
It's great that we were able to announce today the Hyatt Place, Hyatt House combo here in Nairobi. It's fabulous to be here. It took us a while to get to this point. The favorable conditions the government has put in opening up the country, making it accessible, the visa regime that has become much easier to do, and I think that's one of the biggest points where we made a decision that it's really high time to put the right brand into the market that will attract our target customers and the people we're looking for.
Great. Now, let us talk about the outlook of the hospitality industry in general. Your brand is in Tanzania and you're operating in Tanzania and equally in Zanzibar. When you compare Kenya and the Tanzanian market, what would you say is the general outlook?
Well, it's easier to travel here. You have better airlift. It's increasing by the day. We talked about the African Airlift Union that has been put in place. You have international carriers coming here. And at the same time, it's much easier to obtain a visa. You can do an e-visa, you can do it online, you travel. It's just so much easier to do business when in our business days, in our busy days, when we have to travel, and it's good to go from A to B in one piece rather than having to change airplanes a couple of times to reach.
The African continent has been trying to place itself viably in the market so that investors can come in and tap into the potential. And we saw heads of state some time back sign the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, and there's also the single airline market that conversations are going around that topic. Now, how do these two ideas or these two agendas by the African continent play in bolstering business in the hospitality industry?
Africa, the continent itself, has done a great job in opening up. It's much easier to do business. We have entered with Dar es Salaam, we have entered the market in the main city, then we have looked at other options, tier 2 cities to go in. In general, hotel business in the country, in the entire continent, is extremely exciting for us because we see that we have opportunities to build hotels with our wonderful partners where our customers would like to go, where we see opportunities to grow. And tourism as such, it's such a wonderful country, so much to see, so many places to go. That was the driving factor that we really shifted focus onto the entire continent Africa. And now with this entry of the Hyatt House, Hyatt Place combo in Nairobi, which is hopefully going to open by the end of 2020, this marks a milestone for us as a company.
Well, it's an exciting time for the Kenyan market and for the Kenyan economy, as we've seen the launch of the direct flight, which is set to happen sometime next month, and there'll be direct flights from Kenya to New York and New York to Kenya every single day. What does this mean to the hospitality industry in general?
Any airlift coming from outside of Africa, into Kenya, into Nairobi, is an advantage. It will open up opportunities for business travelers to be here quick. It's obviously a long flight to the US, we all know that. But with our busy lives we live and we're so connected and time is of the essence, a daily flight to the US will open up a lot of opportunities for investors to come. Travel exchange, tourism is a big plus. You can access the market, it's easy to come here. And then with the visa regime that is currently in place, it's much easier to travel around the country.
Now, you've talked about Hyatt Place and Hyatt House, and that just goes to show that the brand is diversifying its stock. One can't help but wonder, why is it important for businesses to learn the art of diversifying their stock?
Because you don't really want to put all your eggs in one basket. It's really important to diversify and understand where our customers would like to go. We have a loyalty program with more than 10 million people united. They have been asked questions. We did a lot of empathy interviews. Where would you like to go? What are your places you would like us to go into? This is one of them, and that has led to the opportunity here in Nairobi and many more to come. We're looking forward to double then our footprint over the next couple of years within the continent, and we have put the right resources in place to make that happen. We have a development team locally here in Nairobi. We're going to open up an office as well in Johannesburg to make sure we can cover the entire continent and make use of those opportunities.
Now, as we come to a close of this conversation, I would like us to talk about the seamless experience that the customers are looking for out there. And this goes without question that there are several factors that go into play. For example, training your staff, the kind of staff that you have, and the service that you're providing. Talk to us about that.
Hyatt's purpose is to care for people so they can be their best, which includes that we choose very careful who is going to work with us. The workforce is key. We're a people business. It's not about putting a hotel, brick and mortar, and then it's done. That's the easy part. The complicated part is how do you select the right people to work for you. We have embarked on a new journey. We are looking for individuals that make it possible for us to bring the brands to life, whichever it is. In this case, in Nairobi, the Hyatt Place, Hyatt House brand. Individuals that are themselves. We're not telling them anymore what to say and where to say. They should be themselves. We would like them to treat the hotel like it's their home, and that they welcome their friends into that home and make them feel comfortable. Training is key, but it's not about training anymore, phraseology, what to say, when to say. It's more about how do I make sure that the experience we talked about before is executed. You find locations which no one can find on Google to show off, and then make sure that the young talent gets an opportunity to really go into the various divisions of such a hotel to operate and give them opportunities to grow.
Well, finally, just a brief overview of the state of your brand in the East African market and generally in the African market.
We currently have 6 hotels in operation. We are in Johannesburg, we're in Dar es Salaam with a Hyatt Regency, we have Park Hyatt in Zanzibar, we have Casablanca, we have a Hyatt Place in Taghazout. We are looking to expand further. As we mentioned before, Hyatt is looking to more than double its presence within the African continent. We have a Park Hyatt in Marrakesh coming up. We have a Hyatt Regency in Taghazout. We're looking at a wonderful Hyatt Regency in Algiers near the airport. The Centric brand, first Centric entering the African continent in Dakar, Senegal. We're looking at this one here in Nairobi, Hyatt House, Hyatt Place by the end of 2020. A Hyatt Regency in Addis Ababa, hopefully opening the first portions of the doors by the end of this year. And then we continue with Hyatt Regency Arusha, a wonderful property that is in a massive garden with tea plantations and coffee plantations. And we continue to expand and see what else we can do. Development team is working very hard to make things happen. It's growing with intent. It's not the quantity, but it's the quality that we would like to put on that wonderful map. Thank you.
Now let's get technical and take a look at the day's market performances, and here is a summary. That is how the markets performed today, but for more in-depth analysis of the same, tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. for my next big bet with Rachel Nderitu and Karanja Daniel. Now let's take a look at the day's weather report. Well, that's all the time we had tonight on the Business News Desk. On behalf of everyone that made it a success, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Good night.